Welcome to Bears Banter. Man, we have tonight on the broadcast, you have Keith Flournoy, Mike Alton, Tammy Harris, Jaye Beasley, and Guy Moore. How's everybody doing tonight?
What's going on? What's going on?
How you?
All right. Man, I don't know what happened this week, man, but we had a whole lot of developments from last Sunday to this Sunday. Man, we almost had to have a show Thursday. I think it was Wednesday, Thursday night.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, even today, not today, yesterday, there was some more things that happened that I'm kind of shocked. I'm trying to figure out, are the Bears rebuilding or what's going on? I mean, what y'all think going on here?
The Bears have been rebuilding, and they just ain't telling nobody. That's what it is.
I don't think they know.
They ain't telling nobody. The Bears have been rebuilding, and they ain't really telling us. And that's how they want to keep it. They want to make sure, or they want to look at it like, we ain't rebuilding, but we are rebuilding, but we ain't telling nobody. And that's what it's been.
I disagree because that indicates that the Bears have a plan. This could not possibly be planned.
I think what they're doing is that you know how when black people know they about to get fired, and so they mess up the whole organization before they leave. I think that's what's happening right now. It's right before our eyes.
Man,
I'll show them.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe in that post conference after the end of the season, a couple of reporters. I want to say it might have been Hub Arcus. I'm not sure. That asked what was the time length on the contracts for the general manager and the coach. And the Bears management, George McCaskey did not want to answer that question.
Didn't say nothing.
Between him and the president, they didn't want to answer that question. And it makes you wonder now, did they get extended versus because what's so secretive about their contracts? They would not reveal it. And to me, it's looking like, now they're telling Akeem Hicks to look for a team. They let go of Cal Fuller. And it sounds like, I guess in the last show we were talking about when they was trying to do the Russell Wilson deal, we actually did indicated that we thought Cal Fuller and Hicks would probably be in a trade.
We're gonna be included in that trade,
yeah. So that turned out right, but now what you do is you turn around and now you devalue the guys by saying, at least Hicks, just look for a trade. Nobody's giving you nothing, Holly. Now at this point, you know,
relative
to
they
can just wait till you cut them. They can just wait till you cut them because that's what you're going to do.
But relative to Cal Fuller, they let go a Pro Bowl player. So that means that they had his value at nothing. So you didn't even have to replace somebody that you think is a nothing player. So that made absolutely no sense.
Well, I'm looking at it as far as like we all have to remember. And I'm telling Bears fans, I've been seeing stuff on Facebook and everybody talking about, we all have to look at it like the salary cap is so different this year where they can't afford to keep a lot of these players. And the thing about it is when you backload all these contracts, going for it all, which they've been trying to do for the last couple of years, we going for it. And you backload all these contracts and you don't make it to the Super Bowl. Now you got these contracts that's backloaded and you can't pay. Cal Fuller was going to be $20 million this year. You can't do it.
Jay, that makes sense, except they just right after not being able to give Kyle Fuller enough money, they spent $10 million on a 19th string quarterback.
Well, okay, that's a different story. We'll get to that.
Okay.
That's a different story.
All right.
That's a different story.
But the thing is, they franchised Cal Fuller last year, and what happened? They matched the tag because Cal Fuller got offered by the Packers last year.
Well, that was 2018.
That was a couple years ago.
That was 2018.
Right.
That was 2018.
Okay, they could have let him go then, but they franchised.
They could have let him go then.
And they didn't want him to go to the Packers.
They put the transition tag on, and he just signed a 1 year, $9.5 million deal with the Broncos today.
Good for him.
A lot of these contracts and a lot of free agents are doing these 1 year deals because of the salary cap issue due to COVID.
Yeah, but you know what? You get rid of a Pro Bowl player and you got to eat $6 million.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like what they're trying to do is like you're being very secretive about it. But I'll tell you about it later. I'm starting to call Mr. Brian Uncle Murray. And I'll tell you about it later.
Okay. Right. Hey, let's start off with at least the most concerning news that we had this week was the Bears signing of Andy Dalton.
Does somebody have another device on, a radio show or something? I can hear some feedback from that.
Yeah, I do. I hear feedback as well.
Okay.
That's probably Andy Dalton calling to try to figure out how to play quarterback.
Or the ghost of Buster Screen.
Well, I don't know. That's Tammy got to say something good about him because Bill Lazor.
I gotta say something good.
Bill Lazor had it. He had his best years, right? So that's your husband. You just gonna have to say good things about Andy Dalton, ain't he? Okay, maybe not.
Hey, I'm gonna put the link out there. It looked like Sean Muhammad may want to come on and say a few words, and maybe James Gilmore. I'll put it out there in a few minutes. But let's get back to Andy Dalton. As far as the Bears signing Andy Dalton, to me, this is a reason why Pace should be fired. If they wanted Andy Dalton, they could have got Andy Dalton last year. But what they did last year, they were impatient. Soon as it looked like the quarterback market was going to be dry, they run out there and sign Foles, and they give up a pick for Foles. And within a few weeks, Cam Newton becomes a free agent. I think Teddy Bridgewater became available. They claimed they was looking at Andy Dalton. Then Andy Dalton got cut because the Bengals couldn't find anybody who wanted to trade for him. Which should tell you something. But people don't want to trade for a quarterback. That should tell you something. And he played this year with Dallas with weapons, and I was not impressed by his performance. So I don't understand this particular signing. I was going to bring up some of his quarterback signing, but I wanted y'all to make some comments on Andy Dalton before I get to some of the slides. What you got to say, Jay? Look like you ready to roll, Jay.
Look,
go
man,
ahead, Jay. Let it go.
Look, man. When I saw they signed Andy Dalton, I was like, wow, really? Really? Again, y'all know, I don't know. I don't know. Come on, man. Andy Dalton. But at the same time, y'all know me, I always try to put a positive spin on things. Andy Dalton, he's reunited with Bill Lazor, Tammy, your husband. He's reunited
right
now. He's reunited. He's reunited with Lazor. He had most of his good years. Those 2 or 3 years he had with Lazor in Cincinnati, but he did have some weapons with him. He had not Ososeko, but
AJ Green.
Right, he had AJ Green and Ross and all them guys. So I'm just hoping that maybe we can catch lightning in a bottle, and hopefully that it might turn out to be something. But it's a 1 year contract. I'm not mad about it. I am, but I'm not. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like it's a 1 year contract, and we got to draft a quarterback, which that could be a whole nother show. But we got to draft a quarterback because now you're going into the season. You're going into the season with Andy Dalton and Nick Foles.
I don't know, Jay.
Right.
This sounds like Mike Glennon 2.0 because we've seen this same playbook.
I don't know about that. I don't know
Really?
about
You
it ain't
overpaid
Mike Glenn
for a
2.0.
quarterback only to then look to go to the draft to draft another quarterback. How is that different?
Because when you pick Mike Glennon, your whole thing was you drafted Mitchell Trubisky, who you thought was going to be your franchise quarterback, and he's not. He's not. So now you got to do the same thing all over again. You got to do the same thing all over again.
Because we were so successful the first time, we doing it again?
We wasn't successful. That's the thing.
That makes no sense. Right.
We wasn't successul.
What's the definition of insanity? To keep doing the same thing and expect different results. That makes no sense.
All I know is if they go into the draft this year, they got to draft the quarterback. I've actually, because we pick it at 20. Me and Bernard was just talking about this. The only way you go get a franchise quarterback is you move up in the draft between 6 and 10. You got to move up between 6 and 10. If you ain't gonna do that, then now you're looking at some second and third round people. And I like the guy from Florida, Trask. I like him, maybe as a bridge quarterback or as a young quarterback that could actually come in and maybe y'all could develop somebody. But we ain't developed no quarterback. We ain't drafted no quarterback. The quarterbacks that we've drafted has been terrible, and it's been so long. We can go back. We can go back to the Rex Grossmans, the K McNowns. We can go. All the Bears have never been able to draft a quarterback.
Let's be clear though, Jay. Nobody's able to draft a quarterback. This is not like the entire league is really great at being able to draft franchise quarterbacks. Where did Aaron Rodgers go? End of the first round.
End of the first round.
Right, Dallas's quarterback. I can't think of his name. Where third, fourth round?
Yeah, Dak Prescott.
So all all of these
don't get me started.
So-called
on the Dak Prescott
quarterback gurus are consistently letting good quarterbacks slip through the draft every year. So can you find a good quarterback at the end of the first round? I think you can.
Right.
Will you? That's an entirely different situation.
Let's bring up that presentation of quarterback.
I just want to mention this, Bernard, real quick.
Go ahead.
The Bears had 3 picks in the 4th round in 2016. 3 picks in the 4th round. And I'm sitting looking at the draft like Dak Prescott. They drafted 3 players before Prescott. And the only person on that team now left is Deion Bush. And what is that saying?
Right. So let's look at
quarterbacks were available. They just didn't pick them.
Can you make that a little bigger?
Oh yeah, I can.
Okay. Let's look at some of the moves that Ryan Pace has made at quarterback. I think Jay Cutler was when he first got here. Jay Cutler has 2 years on his contract.
Oh, that was great.
A little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, 2016.
Was that Pace?
That was Pace.
Unfortunately.
Okay, Pace signed Brian Hoyer to be Jay Cutler's backup. He signed a 1-year deal for $2 million as Jay Cutler's backup. That same year, he signed Matt Barkley. I don't understand that. Barkley can't play. Hoyer is a decent backup. 2017, I'm not sure what was he doing. We talk about Mike Glennon. If you was going to draft a quarterback, I'm not sure why would you pay Mike Glennon for a 3-year contract for $45 million. And in that same year, he signed Mark Sanchez as
also
the
known
backup.
as butt fumble.
Then he also drafted Mitch that year. Let's go to the next. Make that a little big for playing. Thanks. 2018, for the backup quarterback, he signed Chase Daniels for two years for $10 million. I'm not sure what we found out Chase Daniels couldn't play. Well, we already knew Chase Daniels couldn't play. He couldn't even play at Missouri. I think at Missouri, Chase might have had about four or five good games his junior year. And his senior year, he pretty much stunk it up and ended up getting drafted. 2020, he signed Nick Foles, gave up a fourth rounder for Nick Foles, gave him a contract for 3 years, $24 million. 2021, he signed Andy Dalton for 1 year, $10 million with a possible $3 million in incentives. I just want to give that back up on this is the kind of stuff that Pace is doing
not impressive.
for quarterback.
And the rest
That's
of the
not
NFL signed Trubisky for $2.5 million a year.
That's not impressive.
Yeah.
So how highly do they think of the talent that Pace actually selected as well?
Yeah, and look at the money that some of these backups, like you mentioned, Mitch, who got 1 year deals. Look at some of the money that some of those guys are getting. What compared to what he just gave Andy Dalton?
I think they'd have been better bringing Mitch Trubisky back.
Amen.
Here's my problem with this whole thing with Nagy. First of all, you have to coach the team that you're given. You got to coach your team. He wants to, put himself off as he's this quarterback guru because he had Patrick Mahomes in effectively a red shirt year. Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes regardless who the offensive coordinator is. So as much attention as they gave Mahomes based on what Nagy was doing, Nagy has nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes' success. He decided he didn't want to coach Mitch Trubisky, and that's why he decided he's a failure. And, basically you reap what you sow.
They brought him in here to coach Mitch Trubisky. And so that has been the offset of this whole debacle because Nagy did not coach the guy that they brought in here for him to coach. And so the reason why I say they would have been better off just bringing Mitch back, because it seems like what we were talking about is that they're looking to tank the season for some reason in my eyes, but bringing Andy Dalton in is like putting a Band-Aid on the bullet wound. That's not going to help at all. And I think when they made the announcement, I told Nutty, I said, "Dag, man, we just peed in the wind with our mouths open." That is ridiculous.
Okay.
What is that, rain? What is that, rain? That's so mad. Tammy is down there quiet because of her guy Laser.
What did she say to that?
Tammy's still in shock.
No, Tammy is just so disgusted. Like, I don't even know what to say about this week. It's been a very disappointing week that has unfolded with what we got and what we're doing. I have no idea what they're doing or why they're doing it. I just know that it's going to be a super painful season to watch. But I will clarify that while I like Laser as a offensive coordinator, I like melanin in a husband. Sorry. I can't do that.
Oh man, that divorce came quick.
And she just found out he wasn't black. That's scary.
Why did I get married too?
You know what, man? Let me tell you. Like I said, I call Ryan Pace Uncle Murray. Uncle Murray is your father's best friend. He ain't your real uncle. He the one that got that degree or that little certificate for perfect attendance and home economics and think he a cook. Everything, Kool-Aid, all that stuff, soup. All the stuff ain't supposed to crunch. The problem is, it ain't the fact that he make the stuff crunch. It's the fact that the people around him empower him by not saying nothing to him. This dude, man, I look at Dalton and everybody wants to throw the whole Laser thing out there, but when I last checked, wasn't Nick Foles under Laser as well too? And look what happened with that one. Andy Dalton, like I said, we could have kept Mitch. You knew exactly what you were going to get. You knew what his limitations were. You know what assets he had. Now you got a guy that's bringing. We don't know if he's shell shocked from being in Dallas or dealing with what he dealt with or whatever. But like you guys said, they need to make a decision. Don't sit up here and play games and pretend like you're trying to win a Super Bowl, you rebuilding, or you trying to like pull the wool over our eyes, or you don't want to say anything about it. Don't want to show us a contract for these guys. Just be real, you know what I'm saying? Because sooner or later, as much as we've got tradition and everything that we have, sooner or later, some people gonna start falling off the bandwagon, man. But are these dudes gonna come back? Is the question. I'll know at the end of the season if they win. If they just say they go to the playoffs and go far in the playoffs, and these dudes are gone, and I know what's up. But I got a feeling it's something that they're not telling us.
Well, wait a minute. What I will say is, how many games did Nagy actually let Laser coach seriously without interfering? 4, maybe 5.
5
right.
When he broke the record.
4, maybe 5. So, I'm not gonna say that it would have been like a whole lot different or whatever, but we don't fully know what would have happened if Laser would have been able to actually coach Nick Foles the way that he could and had in the past. Still might not have changed much, but who knows?
And the thing about it is you couldn't bring Mitch back.
Right.
You couldn't bring Mitch back. As much as we can say that, you couldn't bring Mitch back because the relationship between the coach and the player is gone. It's gone. So you couldn't bring Mitch back. I wish him well. And I still say, I said it on Facebook a couple of days ago, it's 32 teams in the NFL, and Mitch probably ain't going to start on none of them. So that is, how I feel about.
Yeah, he went to a playoff team though, so he won in the deal.
He went to a playoff team, and he's going to be a backup, which is what he is. He's a backup. Yeah, he's a backup quarterback.
He's going to make millions of dollars to carry it.
Yeah, but I do remember you saying this, Jay. After the Super Bowl, there was a guy who did not play at all and got 2 Super Bowl rings.
He got 2 Super Bowl rings.
So
he got 2 Super Bowl rings.
So if you're gonna pay me $2.5 million to sit on the bench, anybody need some Gatorade? Anybody good? Everybody good? Everybody good?
Because they can give me league minimum and I'll hold that clipboard.
Right.
They give me league minimum and I'll hold that clipboard.
But here's the big part about it as well, too. You got some guys that sit in the Hall of Fame right now that are probably a billion times better players, but as much as they may call this dude a buster, he got 2 ups on him. He got 2 pieces of chips. And they don't have. I call it, like they say, was it big bank take little bank, or whoever has the most toys wins? That's one toy you can't buy. So I'll take it and the loot.
Okay. Hey, I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us tonight on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV as we talk about our discuss for Chicago Bears. Us as fans, I mean, we've seen this before, but I think we're kind of hitting, for me, a new level of frustration of dealing with the Bears because I will say this with the Bears have fired general managers more often than not firing them. And I don't understand at this point why Pace is still allowed to do what he's doing. He makes mistakes. Yeah, he must do. I mean, I don't know who he's dating or what the deal is, but
somebody got naked pictures on him, and
bad ones.
right. Because he's allowed to keep making these same mistakes over and over again, and it's starting with the quarterback. I mean, the quarterback is the key position on any team. If you seriously, we know defense wins championship. We know that. But if you ain't got a quarterback, you're probably not even making the playoff, to be honest, unless your defense is a top-notch defense, in my opinion. So maybe with a top-notch defense, you could get to maybe a Super Bowl every few years, long as the offense is not turning it over, right? You playing like you're playing like game managed, but in the long term, that's not long-term success. You need a quarterback to really have long-term success. You could see teams, take teams like Seattle. I know we was talking about Russell last week. That's a team that depleted their defense, but because the quarterback was so good, the team stayed competitive. And, you've seen quarterbacks like that where, you even seen points where Green Bay looked kind of not good, but because of Aaron Rodgers, the team stayed competitive. But you cannot continually just screw up the quarterback position and then also screw up the backups. I mean, if you're going to get a backup and pay him, at least get a backup that's actually now. For example, Andy Dalton is probably a decent backup. He's not at this point in his career, he's not a starter. In his press conference, he said he was told that he was going to be the starter. So are they going to walk back that comment because that's what he said? But we could move from Andy Dalton and maybe I wanted to maybe talk about Allen Robinson, and then you look at Allen Robinson actually signed. Matter of fact, you know what? You could bring that up, Mike, because you had said why Allen was going to sign, and it ended up not even happening.
Yeah, so a couple of things that happened in that trade, not the trade, but the signing. Allen, they had brought Kenny Golladay in this week to potentially come to the Bears, and Kenny Golladay ended up signing with the Giants. But so just even with that whole thing, man, the team that we have, first thing you want to do is try to win the division. So right now, Aaron Rodgers has to beat Andy Dalton, Kirk Cousins, and Jared Goff in our division.
I don't know if he could do that. Man, that's rough.
Man,
Wait,
I know it's hard out here.
At the same time, or is there going to be other players with him?
Well, I'll be reaching out to Jay because Jay is a season ticket holder. That's like flushing a couple $1,000 down the toilet.
Man.
Did you pay for your tickets already, Jay?
As I look at the calendar, it's due on the 24th of this month. It's due on the 24th next week. But it's
so
hard,
come
man.
out with that check?
Yeah.
Oh!
I got to.
Man, where my wig at? Where my wig? I can't find
I got to.
Hey, Sean Muhammad, this is what you're talking about. Jay is one of the reasons the Bears could do us like this.
right. Exactly.
Ticket holders.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where, I definitely got to do that. I got to do it because I do want to keep my seats, because eventually I'm hoping that one day we actually going to be a winner. We actually going to be a winner one day.
It's only been since 85.
Well, no, I ain't going to say 85 because we did go to the Super Bowl. Was that 2005, 2006? We did go to the Super Bowl.
You said a winner. Say that part again. Winner.
A winner. Yeah,
that was gross, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
is not gonna pull that ball away this time.
But I don't know what the Bears are doing right now as far as at the quarterback position.
They don't either.
And they don't either. And I still go back to last year, and I don't want to, my whole thing is I don't want to go in the past, but hashtag Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, he was there in the third round. And I remember on your Facebook post.
The second round, he was right there. Hashtag Jalen Hurts.
Jay, I remember last year you was talking about that, Jay, and I can remember commenting on your post saying, "Do you think he's going to fall to the second?" And you said, "Yeah, I think he's going to fall to the second." I said, "Well, if they fall, there's no way the Bears not going to get him." And guess what? They didn't get him.
They didn't.
Is he still black?
About it.
I'm sorry, I threw that out there.
And the thing about it is, everybody was like, you can't take Jalen Hurts in the second round. You need a productive player. Okay, we took Cole Kmet. He had 22 receptions. 22. Is that productive? 22 receptions.
Too?
Right. 22 receptions in a season. That's not productive. You could have got your quarterback last year. Yeah,
Jay,
you didn't do it.
Jay, now this is where when you look at the whole picture of stuff that Ryan Pace does, what I say he can't be allowed to continue to make the same mistakes. If he was going to draft a tight end in Cole Kmet, why did he sign Jimmy Graham right before the draft?
Exactly.
To me, that made it look like he was, okay. We're going to
7 or 8 other guys too.
Yeah, at one point it was like 9 tight ends on the team.
It was like
But like I told y'all. But like I told y'all, this whole franchise, it's like everybody have a scheme and they got a flow. But this franchise is like throw stuff at the wall. They throw darts at the wall and be like, okay, this is my stick, this is my stick, this is my stick, this is my stick. It's no flow, it's no plan. Even when we call it plays, I said it last year. Even when Nagy called it plays, it's like, what are you looking at? Where's the flow? And it's no flow to this whole thing. And it goes from the top to the bottom. It goes from the top to the bottom.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it's like, what is the plan? Like you mentioned right there. So that's an example of him, for example, getting a tight end in free agency, and it was a big contract. It wasn't like it was like one of these deals you're saying now for like $1 or $2 million. But let's just go back. I hate to go back, but we had to go back since we brought it up. It goes back to 2017, where he knows he's going to draft a quarterback at either 2 or 3, right? The Bears supposed to draft at 3. Then you go out and sign Mike Glennon as starters money. It's different if you signed him a backup money, but you signed him as starters money. Then you send him to the draft. So to me, it's almost like you're trying to trick people. Like, we signed this quarterback, and you send the quarterback that you just signed to the draft, which makes the quarterback think you're not about to draft a quarterback. But if you're drafting at 3, you don't have to trick anybody. I mean, what's the worst case scenario you was going to have? You either got your guy or you got the next guy. If you looked at the way it was going, you would have got either Deshaun or you would have got Mahomes.
No, the worst case scenario is that you would trade up in order to get the guy you could have had anyway.
To make it more complicated, right?
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing with Pace that doesn't make sense. And so he does a move. And if you think about it, why did he need Graham? Because I can't think of the tight end name, but he had signed the tight end the year before that from the Eagles. I can't think of the guy's name.
Bennett.
He kept having, what was his name?
Bennett.
No, not Bennett. He didn't play off. He didn't play in the play when they went and met the Eagles in the playoff. He started having these headaches or whatever. And
what's his name?
Zach,
no.
Damn, he actually was still on the Bears. He was still on the Bears payroll this year. He was actually
it actually played for Indianapolis last year.
He played for Indianapolis last year.
I can't think of his name. Oh my God, his name is just
number 80. That's not Bennett. Okay.
No. Oh wow. I cannot think of this dude's name. But you know what? Can none of us think his name? Which lets you know how insignificant he was. It lets you know how insignificant he was. I know who you're talking about. Oh, I can't call his name. And eventually, before the show is over, I'll probably go hope I can call his name. But I don't know, man. I don't know. We in dire straits right now. The Bears are in dire straits right now.
Right.
We in dire straits.
Hey, you know what? Let's briefly talk about the situation with Deshaun Watson.
Wow.
That is
yeah.
That's an interesting situation that's going on. I don't know which way it's headed. When people of money get in situations like this, it's hard to tell sometimes. I mean, we not the judge and jury of it, but it's hard to tell if it's people who are just after you for money, or is the person actually guilty of what's being said. I don't have any idea, but I do know this. This has actually probably hurt his leverage that he had as far as wanting to be traded, because I could see teams not wanting to make that trade, not knowing if he's going to be suspended, or there could be maybe some legal charges, criminal charges following. I don't know. I don't have the information, but I do know is the civil case is mounting. Somewhere between 9 to 12 ladies have for inappropriate conduct. Mostly what it is, but I definitely think it had lost that leverage that he had to. I'm not going to sit out because he's not going to win the public image thing now, right? Because people are not going to sympathize with him if he sit out, So I think at this point he probably got to play ball and just go play in the game. I mean, anybody got any comments on the situation with Deshaun Watson?
I'd actually like to defer to
Tammy
to see what she has to say
I
before
was
I
going to say Tammy. I want Tammy to go first.
Right.
I want Tammy to go
okay.
first.
Oh Lord. I will just say that it's unfortunate. It wasn't smart on his part to find to go looking for masseurs on Instagram with the network of people that he has. And we all know how social media people on Instagram, people just out there on all these various sites can be, and I don't know because I don't know all the facts, they can be opportunists. So why you would even put yourself in that position is not smart on his part. I think it's unfortunate that so many athletes and people just in general are caught up, in these situations. And I hope that he didn't do it. And I hope that he's able to prove it. And I hope he's able to resurrect, his career and his image. And if he did do it, I hope that he learns from it and, changes his ways.
Okay. It was Trey Burton was the
Trey Burton, yep.
Trey Burton
thanks,
was the
James.
guy.
Yeah.
Yep, I think we lost Jay for a minute. Yeah, it was Trey Burton. That's who it was.
Trey Burton. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and so,
Somebody came up with that name.
Yeah, so the Bears was actually taking a salary cap hit for Trey Burton in 2020, even though he hasn't been on the team for about 2 years. But showing that was even a bad signing, but that was a tight end signing that didn't work out, which causes him to. And now let's go back. He actually drafted Adam Shaheen in 2017, I think in the same draft as Mitch.
Who?
And that didn't work out, which causes him to get Trey Burton, which Trey Burton didn't work out, which causes him to get Jimmy Graham and get Cole Kmet. And you're talking about only in a 5-year period, he's actually drafted at least drafted 2 tight ends and signed 3 in free agents. Well, he signed about 9 at one point. I think last year was 9 tight ends on the team. 2 years ago when he had all those kickers. Oh, was it 12, Jay?
12 tight ends on the roster.
Okay.
12 tight ends on the roster.
Well,
yeah. Bernard, not to derail the Trey Burton conversation, back to Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty sad. If he's done what he's been accused of doing, part of that, my heart goes out to the women. A lot of times, it's very hard for women to speak up relative to assaults and things like that that happen to them. So I don't want to diminish that in any way. But there's also part of me that has a concern with, if you're a masseuse, this is your job, you have a problem with massaging naked men. I mean, that's kind of the expectation of what you do. So, I'm just saying there's a couple different sides to it. And either way, it's a pretty sad story. So that's my commentary on that.
Plank, that's a great point. And hold on, I want to say this is listen to Tammy and Plank. In no way I know personally, I don't want to diminish that what they could be saying is being true, but it's kind of, because it is hard for people who are victims of any type of inappropriate conduct, whatever that may be, as far as inappropriate conduct, to come forward, because one of the things people say immediately is it ain't true. And let it be somebody who's rich or famous, then people definitely believe it's not true. And unfortunately with us in our community, we have been such the victim of where we're being where we gain some type of power or something, and our characters are being assassinated. And sometimes with things, you don't have to prove it. It's just enough just to accuse a person of something to make them seem guilty. Right. So I know I personally, I'm going to kind of stay neutral on this because I don't know what happened. And I just hope it didn't happen. And I do agree with Plank as far as the latter part as well is, you guys, guys, lady, whoever you is, they're going to have their clothes off. But like Tammy said, hey, you know what? Be smarter. That's why they had the team trainers. Why are you soliciting women on the internet when the team actually have somebody that you could use? So you got to be careful what you put yourself in. I mean, it's just like, hey, you might have grew up, and I'm going to use neighborhoods that we grew up in since we all from Chicago. I might have grew up in Inglewood, but if I was a football player and I had some kind of luxury vehicle, I'm not going to drive that vehicle in Inglewood.
I'm not going to be in Inglewood, right?
Yeah, I'm not about to be in Inglewood and that, right. And hang out with, say, one of my old boys I grew up with, right? Especially if I know they doing dirt, then they pick them up, and I'm with them, and they got stuff on it, and get what the story is. He's hanging out with some of his old buddies. We don't know who really had the drugs. So you have to make decisions once you get famous that you have to disassociate yourself with some behaviors or people that could cause you to get your world turned upside down. So that's all I got to say about him. If anybody else say something now, we can move to the next topic.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate the thing with Deshaun Watson right now. And like we say, we don't know if it's true, but because it's out there, because it is out there now, ain't no telling. There's no telling where this is gonna go. There's no telling where this is gonna go. The Texans whole thing is like we are working with the NFL to see how this is gonna shake out. But it's unfortunate on both parties. On both parties, I do want to express. Like we all have, for the young ladies that's saying that, that are the victims, and it's unfortunate for him as well. But it's a sad situation. It really is. It's a sad situation.
Okay. Hey, I'm putting some of the comments that we are receiving from YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV. You can see some of them at the bottom of the screen. Some of them a little lengthy, so I can't read some of them, but you as a viewer, please read them. Hey, Guy, what do you have?
Well, first of all, before that, I was reading what our classmate said. Alvin Bridgeport is 100% true. We crack jokes. We sit up here and we shoot the stuff or whatever it is. But something like this, I mean, it's a very slippery slope. I mean, my heart goes out to everyone involved, but just as importantly, his wife. What she has to endure. She had nothing to do with this whole thing. So now she's being questioned and looked at. But what I want to say is I've had some friends who are like celebrities, and it's like I see two sides of it. One side I see where people feel like they want to touch you because you're something that they're not. Sometimes they need something tangible. We've all been out and had probably as celebrity friends. You see how people treat them differently. It's like with the women, some of the women come at these guys. With some of the women celebrity, the guys look at them like, oh my God, some people may think meal tickets. Sometimes you can bump into somebody in the club. Now all of a sudden they go all over the place. They're like, oh, you hurt me, this and that, and all types of stuff. But then on the other side of it, you may see some celebrities who feel like they're larger than what they really are. They feel that they can get away with it. But I think it is very important for us to keep a level of neutrality here because we need to see what comes out. Like there's quote unquote supposedly evidence. Let's see what the evidence is. But bottom line, like I said, I grew up, me and Bernard are childhood friends. First and foremost, if I'm a professional athlete and I need to get a masseuse, first person I'm going to some legitimate people within the organization or people that know to give me someone legit that does that, number one. Number two, if I am an athlete and that's what I'm going there for, that's what I'm going for. I'm not going to sit out here and try to treat this like they do on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever it is, thinking that it's the massage and saying, okay, well, I'll kick you a little extra dollars, yada, yada, yada. But, when you're, and I hate to bring race into it, because of like even what Alvin said with the Roethlisberger thing. Roethlisberger thing was heinous as well, but it's sort of dissolved. But I don't see this dissolving. Even if he gets absolved and he's not guilty, there's still going to be a side eye. They're going to say, oh, well, they're covering this up because he's a black athlete and he wants to get out of Texas. And it's kind of funny to me because something that you it was very interesting that you said this, Bernard. We're talking about all this stuff popping up. It's interesting that it could have been the organization covering up or whatever, or it could be a situation where if 12 people are popping out the woodwork all of a sudden, then why did it all of a sudden pop up when he decided he wanted to leave Texas? But
that's a good point. Hey, I'd like to welcome James Gilmore back on the program. But James, I'm going to backtrack because I know you had some comments on what you think about. I'm going to throw a couple of things at you. The Andy Dalton signing, the release of Kyle Fuller. What do you think going on, James?
Well, I haven't been able to keep up last month like I usually do, but the Andy Dalton signing really is, to me, just the last-ditch effort to get a quarterback. You know, he wasn't their first choice. I think their first choice obviously was Russell. I think they would have liked to get Jameis, but Jameis just threw the whole monkey wrench in the thing when he signed so quick. So I think they panicked and said, look, we got to get somebody, and Dalton was the best available that they thought they could get for sure. Kyle Fuller, I just think that they just didn't want to spend the money. I think that's all that was. But yeah, Dalton was just the best they could get at that time, which they knew, hey, we could bring this guy in. We don't have to really bid against anybody.
And to me, I think, yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. And to me, I actually thought that they would try to do an extension with Kyle. I was actually surprised that they cut Kyle from it. Yeah. I thought they might try to do an extension. The King Hicks thing, I'm not surprised at all. You know, called it old, 31 years old.
Yep.
I'm not surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised at that. But for them to actually let Kyle Fuller go, I was actually surprised. I really was. I thought they would try to do an extension to let his cap number come down a little bit with an extension.
Right. Hey, but you know what? I'm sorry, Tammy. Go ahead, please.
I was just going to say, I don't know how true this is, but I was reading something that said that they wanted to, but Kyle didn't want to restructure or extend his contract to take less money.
Yeah. You're right, Tammy. You're right.
My boss can't pay me less to do the same job either. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Now, you know, the interesting thing about now, Jalen Johnson was out several games at the end of the season, correct?
Right.
So that I mean, I don't know what his injury was, but
same shoulder injury he's had. Same shoulder injury.
Same shoulder.
Okay. So that makes this kind of weird in itself. Is that you had? I know he's a rookie, but he was out. He missed the last several games from a shoulder injury, and so now you're going into a season where what are you going to do? You're going to draft a corner?
No, they signed Marcus Trufant.
Oh, they signed Marcus
Trufant yesterday.
Oh, that thing. Okay, I missed yesterday's news.
I'm assuming that's going to be Kyle's replacement, which to me, that ain't saying a lot.
No, it's not.
And you know what? Hey, you know what?
Spring wasn't available. I'm sorry.
He's a veteran. You know what I'm saying? He's a veteran. He's a veteran corner. He got some experience in the league, but is he as good? But they did sign Marcus Trufant yesterday.
Okay, what you got, guy?
In football, they're always throwing things out. Well, you know, the reason why is because we wanted to upgrade because he was ranked the 97th cornerback in the league with only one interception. And it's stupid because we all got eyes. We all saw it. To be perfectly honest with you, we would have been way worse if Kyle Fuller wasn't back there for us.
Oh, yeah.
We look at some of the plays that you can't put in statistics, like defended passes, like at a particular time, it's a 3rd and long or whatever. And he stepped up, he's able to stick a guy, and the guy can't catch the ball. That doesn't show up. But a lot of times these companies, like I said, these organizations, they'll sit up and say, you know, about you're ranked all this, that, and the other. And in all actuality, if they were really being real with it and they actually looked at the games, he was actually one of our most valuable players.
Right.
So
I agree. I definitely agree with you.
Let's not forget that this is collusion. It's not called collusion, but it is collusion because you got all of these different organizations giving that wink, wink, nod, nod of how much they're going to pay for a certain position.
Yep.
See? So then they tried to get Fuller to restructure his deal. He wouldn't do it. So they said, well, we're not paying that for this position. And
Good
the other
for him.
team, they agree. They're on the same page.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Hey James, we're gonna have to bring you back on in a few weeks when we get closer to the draft, right? Matter of fact, I know you're probably gonna do a mock draft. We may have to bring you on here for a mock draft.
Well, check with me, man. I've been really busy for the last month, so hopefully things will ease up a little bit. So if I'm available, I'm definitely in.
Okay. Hey, thanks for checking in. Thanks for checking in, James. All right.
We appreciate
Good to see y'all, man. Y'all
Good points, man. Good
Okay,
to
good to
see you.
see you. All right.
We appreciate it.
What was you about to say, Mike?
No,
Look like he's about to.
I was, and I'm just trying to figure out how you can put all of this stuff in a nutshell of what they're doing. It just doesn't make sense. And one of the things I learned a long time ago is that common sense isn't so common. You know,
Mhm.
so
Absolutely.
if you're trying to go and build a championship team, you need pieces. One of my favorite lines from training day is that this is chess and not checkers. And so we're playing checkers with house money. Yeah, and so yeah, you look at all these teams that are playoff caliber teams and the players that they're adding, and then you look at us, who was a playoff team last year because of the expanded playoffs, and look at the players that we're adding, and it's just not adding up. Now, I wasn't the greatest in algebra. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because anytime X and Z and all that's supposed to equal a number, but our math is not adding up, and it's just gonna be. What's that guy's name? The Red Rocket or something like that?
The Red Rifle.
I don't remember them calling him before this, but I guess that's who he is now.
Yeah, the Red Rifle. Well,
he was a great fantasy quarterback. I had him on my fantasy team a couple of years. He was a great fantasy quarterback.
And guess what that is? Fantasy.
It's fantasy.
It's a fantasy. That's all it is. Fantasy.
That's like me dressing up like Darth Vader going in the backyard and fighting war. Come on, give me a break.
Yep.
Luke, you are my you are man. It's just bad.
Yeah, hey Mike, I will say this. I'm gonna borrow this from Mike Dicker, who I can't stand, but it actually does make sense. Mike Dicker said, "Usually don't get better by subtracting players."
Yeah, that's that new math.
Yeah,
that's the new math.
You usually got to add to get better, not subtract.
You gotta add to get better. I agree.
It's almost like a guy riding around in his car with his mask on by himself. I mean, you would have thought on the week that Joe Biden sends out stimulus, we didn't get stimulated at all as being a Bears fan.
We didn't.
The only stimulation you're gonna get is from somewhere else, and not watching these Bears acquisitions. It's just terrible, man.
Yeah, I agree.
That goes back to what I was saying, man, about Uncle Murray, man. What happens is nobody steps up, and the worst part about it, he's the type of dude that will go in as a plumber, and you tell him they need a whole new pipe, he'll go buy some Hawaiian Silky because it's cheaper. What his whole hope is, okay, it's going to seal the hole. If it doesn't seal the hole, they're like, stupid, you're fired. But guess what? The next day, another plumbing company's going to pick him up. That's the sad part about it. Until they start, they'll never do it because it's always like when it comes to players and organizations, us against them. They keep recycling guys like him. And what happens is, no matter how abysmal, thank you very much, guys. Watch him show up in another organization. And if you really want to kind of set a precedent for different places like that and dudes screw up that bad, do them like they blackball them like they do some of these players. Like when a player sits up and talks about, look, you know what, I don't pray to God, my thing is Allah, whatever it is. And now because he has a religious preference, it has nothing to do with playing football or sport. Now you don't want him to play for nobody's team. You need to do it to these GMs because, man, this dude is really, well, I can't say it on here, but he's doing a very bad job.
Yeah.
Hey, Plank, what was the quarterbacks you said we got to win against in the division again? Can you say that again?
Oh, that was me.
That was you?
So we got to beat Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff. And
Ooh.
Jared Goff.
And guess what? And guess what, Mike? When you mention that, and guess what? When you mention that, Mike, Jared Goff don't scare me. Kirk Cousins don't scare me. We got to be Aaron Rodgers. We have to be Aaron Rodgers. And
Who
that's
is we? Who is we?
We
us on this panel got to go out there and Bears outfit and Aaron Rodgers.
You know,
when I say we, I'm talking about the Bears.
We should have
talking about the Bears.
The Bears.
But the bottom line is that's the only quarterback that really scares me in this division. Looking at the Bears' schedule right now, they the third. They schedule was the third hardest schedule in the NFL this year. So we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. I don't know who's going to play safety because Taysom Gibson is a free agent. I don't know.
Eddie Jackson ain't playing it now.
Eddie Jackson said his rookie year. So we got a lot of holes. We got a lot of holes to cover, man.
Who is we? That's the
best. We're Bears fans, Mike.
He's a Tom Brady fan. He ain't a real
I go way back with the Bears. But what should have happened?
He said he undercover. What you got, Tammy?
No, I'm just saying he's not a real Bears fan. He's a Tom Brady fan.
Whoa. I'm getting a ring from last year. But anyway, let's get this all together. We should have went out.
Oh, now you're part of the we though. You hear that?
Hey, I'm finna text Tammy a real bad message. Anyway. So what we should have done is got 50 people and got all their stimulus money and went out and got us a quarterback. Got us a quarterback. That's what we could have done. I mean, it's just bad. It's bad.
You could use that stimmy money.
We fix it. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is how we fix it. When we do, Tammy, you go back. Just do the BS skills. Feel to your husband. Go and put him a nice little piece of caramel cake. Sing a couple bars that love.
Caramel cake. Laser better not get no caramel cake before me.
Well, he'll get one before you.
Make him feel more secure than he should. You know what I'm saying? Just give him the caramel cake, sing to him. Let him watch his little telenovas or whatever on TV. Don't get mad at him. When he go to sleep, make sure you pull a cover up to his neck and stuff. And he might even do okay. But outside, if you don't do that, we'll be calling Jay.
All right, yeah. What kind of show are we turning this into? I'm a little bit concerned. Right. What are we doing again?
Tuck Laser in, with caramel cake.
Her husband ain't speaking no more because all that. I'm quite sure he may have said a couple things or whatever, and they decided to go get this guy. And Tammy was very nonplussed and very upset about it. So he's sleeping outside in the cabana, and she got the king size bed to herself.
Hey, I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us tonight on Twitch TV, Facebook, and YouTube. We're talking about the Chicago Bears, some of the moves they made this week, some of the moves they did not make this week. So as we're trying to figure out in the 2021 season, what is the Bears' objective? What are they going to do when the draft comes? Are they going to draft a quarterback? Are they going to draft offensive linemen? We do know Allen Robinson signed the the franchise tag tenure. So we got him for 1 year, but some of the other stuff doesn't look like it's making sense. Because even with what's his name? Galloway? What's his last name?
Galloway.
Galloway was. Galladay, I'm sorry, it was Galladay, not Galloway. I'm saying Galloway. Yeah. But Galladay was here, for what I understand. He was in Chicago for 2 days. They didn't get a deal done. He goes to, New York? Was it New York?
He goes
to the Giants, and they're able to sign him right away. So,
that's because they said that the Bears offered 11 to 12, and he wanted 18 and a half.
What was that, Tammy?
That's because they said he wanted 18 and a half, and the Bears were offering 11 to 12.
Okay. What was that,
you know what? I'm fine with them offering him 11 to 12 million for 1 year. For 1 year, I'm fine with that. So the Giants had the money to sign him to a 4-year, $72 million deal. So I'm cool with that. But as for a 1-year deal, which is what most of these free agents are signing for right now because of the salary cap. 1 year, $12 million. I was cool with that, and they didn't get it. But so keep it moving.
But that's why they couldn't get it done, though.
Yeah, but think about this though. He's from Chicago.
He's from Chicago
and wouldn't sign with Chicago.
I actually played ball with his brother in high school. His brother, not his brother, but his father. His father was the point guard. His father was the point guard on our basketball team.
That's what we're going to do.
His father was the point guard on our basketball team.
Okay.
I didn't. No.
I was gonna say that he only played about 5 games last year. I was about to mention that.
Yeah. Well, he was injured, but when he did play,
yeah,
he was a force to be reckoned with.
We don't pay you for the games you don't play in.
Yes, we do. We, look at our roster. Yes, we do.
And that's part of the problem.
No, part of the problem is we keep going up. Like I said in the previous show, we keep going to Cincinnati, Jacksonville, and we keep picking up other people's garbage.
Yep.
And that's why we are where we are now.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you just summed it up.
I agree.
Exactly. And we're paying good for that garbage too, man. It's not like we
premium garbage rates, yeah.
Well, Jay is helping with them season tickets. That's all. That's all I got to say about that. All them season ticket holders.
Gonna read for Jay, and it's gonna be like, "Have you considered your car insurance?" But really, we called you to ask about your season ticket.
That's like that's like them people calling for that auto warranty. Every day.
Right.
Hey, look, Pace probably bought something from them. He probably bought the auto warranty.
Right. Like, oh yeah, you can fix my car. Yeah, cool. Man. I look Pace up, man. Pace played football at Eastern Illinois.
Defensive tackle, right?
Yeah, he was defensive end.
Okay.
Yeah, well, anyway.
But that's how that's how he got in New Orleans because of that connection with Eastern.
Yeah, with Sean Payton.
With Sean Payton, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
He keeps an eye on Easton's program, and he kind of keep them on the map whenever he can, looking out. But
so who's been successful from Eastern besides Sean Payton in the football?
Tony Romo.
No. I said successful.
Well, I mean,
Tony is no. When it comes to the playoffs, no. Dak has more playoff wins probably than Tony does.
Yeah.
I still remember the fumble as the field goal holder. That's
but
all.
He was successful though.
That's true. But if you look for what he was drafted for, what was
as a commentator though? He's bad as a commentator.
And what was he, 4th, 5th round?
Yeah, 4th or 5th round guy. You
played in the NFL for how many years?
Yeah, man, you didn't even expect him to make the team or anything.
Right.
He couldn't even keep old girl happy.
Ow.
Mike!
What
we got here? He probably never got the QB then. Okay.
Yeah, as a defensive end, he didn't get the QB then. You're exactly right. Probably had no sacks.
Yeah, and we about to get ready to wrap up the broadcast tonight. As us, like most Bears fans that I've seen in social media, has been disgusted all week at the Andy Dalton signing, and very shocked at the Kyle Fuller. But once you signed Andy Dalton, you knew Kyle Fuller was going to be a casualty unless he re-signed his contract, because you actually went back over the salary cap again, if I understand it correctly. So you had a couple of players restructure their contracts last week. You were under the salary cap. But once you pay Andy Dalton $10 million, you were back over the salary cap again, which means which is probably adding on to the Hicks and all that, because you're going to have to sign your draft picks as well. So there's going to be some more casualties as it go on, as you see teams. But this is why you can't be desperate in these moves, because other teams are cutting star players. And you may be able to get some good star players on 1-year contract, like Jay was saying last week. They're going to be throwing out candy. But if you get desperate and just start signing players and overpaying them for that 1 year. I mean, I don't understand what you're doing. If you're rebuilding, then there's no reason to overpay these players.
The Bears are terrible poker players. That's what the biggest issue is. They get a good hand.
You're right, Keith. You're right, Keith. You are exactly right, Keith. You are exactly right. They are bad. They are bad poker players, man. They don't have a poker face.
At all.
They have a poker face, man. It's like we're gonna put it out here, and this is what we're gonna do. Yep. We ain't gonna try to, we ain't gonna try to fool nobody. This is what we're gonna do, and it's bad.
And we're gonna bid against ourselves. So
we got a long way to go though. We got a long way to go, man. And I don't know what this season is gonna shape up to look like, but
it's gonna be heartbreaking because they've been breaking my heart for the last.
It's gonna be very, very heartbreaking. It's gonna be very heartbreaking. I hope it's not, but this potentially is a very, very heartbreaking season.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I can say at least we had one winner in Chicago this weekend. Loyola defeated University of
Illinois.
Yeah. So much for Illinois being the number 1 seed, huh?
Hey, that dude got a drop step. He got fundamental. He has no athletic ability, but he can shoot a hook shot.
Fundamentals is everything. I've always said that fundamentals is everything.
Man, that goes back to that was Sister Jean. That wasn't them dudes playing. She was over there praying. Come on. When you can't beat the nuns, man. I remember when I was in grammar school, they used to pull out them yardsticks and wear our butt out.
Right. John Muhammad said the Bears. I guess he's giving us a prediction. 4-12. Well, we haven't got that far yet, but that may. Yeah. We'll get to the prediction show soon. But anyway, I'd like to thank everybody who tuned us in tonight on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV. If anybody doesn't have any closing comments, I see we went over an hour. We're gonna get it close out. Anybody have anything to say before we close out?
Just keep praying, man.
When
you think it can't get worse,
I'm still saying that.
If the worst is bound to happen, spite that all that you can do.
Hashtag Jalen Hurts. I'm still saying. Hashtag Jalen Hurts.
He black. He ain't coming here. He a black quarterback, man. When the last time we had a black Cordell Stewart? They caught him in the hot tub with a dude.
No, you know what? After Cordell Stewart, the Bears signed oh man,
Jason Campbell.
My memory for names don't come as
Jason Campbell. Jason Campbell.
I don't remember him. I just remember them catching Cordell in the hot tub with a dude. That's all I remember.
Jason Campbell probably played a half a game because you remember Jason Campbell used to play for Washington.
Yeah.
The Bears signed him as a backup after the Cordell Stewart, but I think he played a half a game. But that's how they've been doing. They like you got him, then you got Cordell Stewart, but then I think before that you had Vince Evans. No, you had
is Vince Evans still alive? Can he still play quarterback?
Moses Moreno.
Moses Moreno. You had Henry Barris. Henry Burns,
Moses Moreno. All them guys.
You keep naming guys that are out working at Kroger right now.
Right.
Kroger's a good place, man. Forget that.
If they're working at all.
Mike, that was the point of why they signed those quarterbacks. That was one of those deals that you sign a guy that really shouldn't be in the NFL. Then that's your justification for why you never got another black quarterback since, right? But to me, that's what it was. Those guys were not. Henry Barrows, he did great in the Canadian League eventually, but he was not an NFL quarterback.
And Bernard, I was getting ready to say, you just nailed it on the head. The quarterback.
Horseshoe Jones. Horseshoe Jones.
What's that? Hold on, I just saw that. Horseshoe
Jones.
When sports writers and people around the league are suggesting that you go talk to Andrew Luck in Europe to have him come back.
That's how sad our quarterback situation is.
But the worst part about it is if he did come back and we got him, he'd be the best quarterback we ever had. And that's sad.
Yeah. And that's sad.
Ted Luckman. I'm sorry.
That's that. Sid Luckman. You're right. You're right. Sid Luckman.
The punky QB was the only one to win the Super Bowl. So
Right.
and he didn't.
Hey, so hey, everybody have a nice evening.
Did he win it?
Thank you for tuning in.
Defense
What's
won it.
that?
I was just saying, did the punky QB win it, or did Steve Fuller do that? That's a debate we can always go down the road with.
QB won it. So
he won the game, but did he get us there? Steve Fuller was the man. Steve Fuller was the man.
And look at what they did to his son Kyle. I'm sorry. Okay.
Hey, everybody enjoy y'all evening. Peace.